Hey you guys, happy December 2023. I want to talk about okay, my problem. I want to talk about a problem that I think is a problem and I do not know how to resolve it. And maybe it's not a problem. But whenever I go somewhere and I see a guy that I think is super attractive, very manly and a beard and he looks good and he has relationship energy, like a sensual type of masculine man, and I think, damn, and I check him out. This could be in the grocery store. Sometimes it's at this new gym where I'm going. That's not just a private gym, like it's a public gym. There are a lot of people. And then my next thought is, how old is this guy? And I'm going to say early 30s. This is a problem because it's been this way for many, many years. And I don't know how to feel attracted to age appropriate men, frankly. I have in the past found myself attracted to men in their 40s or 50s. I'm 62 now. But when it comes to the type of men I'm attracted to, my attraction level has not changed from the time that I was in my late 20s. You know, when I was attracted to men in their 30s, it has not changed. Like, it has not gone up with me as I've gotten older. When I was in my 20s, I did sometimes date much older men. Briefly, you know, I'm talking 40s, 30s and 40s. Like, I was 21 and I had like little flings with guys that were like mid 30s, early 40s. I've never really gotten past that. And I've thought about if there was something wrong with me, but I don't think so. I was married 25 years. I wanted my marriage to work. My ex-husband was 5 years older than me. My female friends, who I consider healthy, they don't hook up. They're relationship type of women. And they like a man a couple years older, even more than that. I have a very close friend, someone I've known a long time. And she's in her mid 40s and she's dating a man 15 years older. She loves him. She loves older men. And most women do. I know women in their 40s who love men in their 60s. I hear from some of you leaving comments on my videos. You're older, you're in your 60s, you're in your 70s, and you get women who want to date you. Women are attracted to you. And I don't blame them. Many men in their 70s are very attractive. They're fit, they're funny, they have good personalities, they still like sex, they're playful, they're young at heart. And I do like to talk to men of all ages. I do like them. And I don't like a guy just because he's younger. I've had that problem where guys are like, oh, you like younger men? Well, I'm some fat loser guy, but I'm younger. Don't you want me? No. No, I don't. This is a problem for me because I realize that for me to ever have a relationship, I will have to feel attracted to men 5 to 10 years older than I am. I will have to feel attracted, not sorry for, not friendly with, not, I will have to feel attracted to a man that is 60 to 70, in that range. Realistically, okay, if I were attracted to men 60 to 70, I wouldn't even be making these videos. I would be talking about how great it is to be in my relationship. But you know what? I like to fuck young guys, but I don't want to just fuck them. I will not just fuck them. I'm not a cougar. I'm not a MILF. I hate those words. Moms I like to fuck. That's very disrespectful. It's not really up to you to decide whether I have issues or not. I just wanted to make this video because you might find it interesting. There are women who like younger men, and when it comes to women who like younger men, I think most of them are very mentally unwell. They prey on adolescent boys like the teachers. They form relationships that should be professional, like with their personal trainers. By the way, the guy who left a comment about I'm talking so much about my personal trainer, I'm just quoting him. I quote Louise Perry and Dr. Robert Glover a lot more. So people have all these ideas. I do not think that way about my personal trainer. He's not my type at all. I would never even fuck him, even if he wanted to be my sugar daddy. And he doesn't. He has a totally different type. He likes these very hot, young, blonde, tattooed women, very hot ones, younger. And that's good because I like my relationship with my trainer to be professional. And I have had female trainers in the past. I usually ask for a female trainer, but when they're not available, they give me a male. But I digress. Other women like a younger man because they can dominate him, tell him what to do, control him. But some women generally do like younger men, 5 or 10 years younger. In my case, like 20 years younger, and that's very unrealistic because the kind of guy that I like. Okay, so in my book, The Fuck List, I don't know if I mentioned these two guys. They were two men in their 40s that were so attractive. One had been pretty high up in the military, and the other one was like a very successful entrepreneur. They were both dads, very fit, very good in bed. And yeah, I did want to date them, I'm not going to lie. And the one, especially, and they were both those lean body types. I love lean toned guys. They were like 5'10", 5'11", very, very good looking, relationship type of guys. But I was really sad when it was just sex. Now, maybe they wanted someone younger. I was 10 years older than they were at the time. Anyway, I'm trying to think back of some of the other younger guys I've had. The guy that I really cried over a lot, that caused me to, like, I gotta find a purpose in my life. And I wrote the book, The Fuck List, as an answer. He was a relationship type of guy, very good in bed. And he was in his early 30s. A man of great character, I want to say. Great, great character. I've come to terms with the fact that this is a very unrealistic goal. However, I just wanted to make a video about it just to kind of release it from myself, just like release it and keep being authentic and sharing what's true for me. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not like yearning for a relationship. I'm not, because I'm happy and I'm content with my life. But I do believe that, I do think it would be fabulous to meet someone for a relationship. The same way that it would be fabulous to get a new dress, but I don't need one. Do you know what I mean? No, it's different. It's more to get like a different kind of experience in my life, to experience something new. And that would be good for my personal growth, I would think. But maybe God wants me to be single for my personal growth. Maybe that's what God wants for me. It would just be a different way of personal growth than I have now. And I do go to places tomorrow, I bought season tickets to the opera, and I bought season tickets to a local playhouse. So tomorrow I'm going to the opera. If you're there, say hi if you see me. And then afterwards, I'm going to a singles event. It's a singles event for people 54 to 65. So I am really trying to put myself in situations to meet men that are close to my age appropriate men, I call them. And it's going to be a fun event. But the last few times, every time I've gone to a singles event like that, the guys were very lame. They lacked confidence. They lacked whatever it was that I needed to be like, I could see myself going out with you. Like the gentleman that I went out with that was the people pleaser, he was actually in his 30s, late 30s. Maybe he was a little too young. I don't know. I would totally date a guy with kids again. I would do the mom thing, stepmom, kid thing. Like I love kids. I love family life. Like I would do all that. Totally. But okay, so I joined this gym after years. I will tell you this. Since I got divorced, the only gym I have been to were women's gyms. Pretty much the gym where I do my personal training, it's all women. It's mostly yoga. It's moms. And the only men that go there are the husbands, but there are very few husbands, and there's hardly anyone ever in there. But it's a beautiful space with this big turf area, and that's where I've been doing my personal training for the past few years. But before that, I just worked out at home and went running. I didn't belong to a gym. I'm not like a gym rat type of a person. But I kept thinking, I've got to go to a gym where there are some men, because that is a good place to meet men. A gym is a good place to meet men. So right before, in January of 2020, I went to Equinox because I wanted to go to a high-end gym where there are more men making more. Like I make pretty good money. I wanted to go to a place where there are men that are more at my educational level. I don't know if you guys know, but I have a bachelor's of science in computer science. I have an MBA. I speak German, Farsi, English. I was raised in Germany. I went to Germany for 1 year in middle school. I went to the first part of the Transcendental Meditation Teacher Program when I was 14. I was like top student in school. I had a pretty good marriage. Like I was pretty successful in my life, and I want, my grandparents, both my grandfathers were very wealthy, and I want to date somebody, people like not rich, like not yachts. I've never been on a yacht or on a private plane, like not that kind of rich, but my grandfather bought 2 homes in Aspen for cash, for example, which he left to my dad. And my dad has a lot of courage. He went from Iran to Turkey to Germany. He went to medical school in Germany. He learned German. That's a fucking hard language. Went to medical school in Germany and then moved our entire family to the United States to do his research, his cancer research. Okay, so I'm used to men who are protectors and providers and who are up to things like that's just my world. That's not super rich, but not down trailer park either. So I'm just saying that as a background of the type of man that I like, and I would rather be alone than be with some lost guy. But again, I'm not like spoiled or anything, but I've had an easy life, and I like men who are intelligent and who have it together. And it's just, I kind of feel like I'm 30. Like guys that a 30-year-old should like. Anyway, I would rather just be alone than... So I went to Equinox and I decided to do like the personal training and do the massage and all this. In the 3 months I was there before the lockdown and they closed, I only saw one guy I was attracted to. Because a lot of the guys working out, they're not my type physically, or they're stiff, or they have like Dorito chip bodies, like really muscular here and scrawny legs. Like I like my guys who are like more physically fit, like a guy who can do animal flow or calisthenics, and a guy who's got a good core. Not a guy who's like all shriveled up and stiff and who can't move. Like it's a turn off. I'm just grossed out. Like, no. Saw one good looking guy. But then they had the lockdown and the gym's closed. Anyway, a few months ago, I decided to join a gym again. And at this gym, I don't really see that many guys I'm attracted to at all. But every once in a while, I see a guy and I'm like, and usually it's like a well-developed guy, like 5'10" is my perfect height, with a beard and like a rectangular shaped body gets my attention. I don't like Dorito chip bodies, you know? They're like all muscle here and spindly legs. I don't like guys who ride their bike like this with their shoulders up. Like, can you support your own core, please, sir? There was a guy in my spin class the other day, and he was riding his bike like this. And I'm like, you can't even support your own core. Like, that's such a turn off. Like, I can't even look at you. But anyway, so some of these guys really work out and they do their foam rolling. And so I'm like, okay, so when a guy catches my attention, and some of those guys in their 60s catch my attention. There was a guy in the spin class. I haven't seen him since. He was in the 60s. He caught my attention. He had like good energy about him. His face was friendly. But anyway, I see these guys at the gym. I don't talk to them, but I look. And I want them to see me looking. Just a little bit of looking so they know I'm interested. But I probably should go more than once a week. But again, they're too young for me. But the point is, I look at them and I'm like, oh my God, he's so cute. How old is he? Shahrazad, how old is this guy? I ask myself. 28 to 32, maybe 35 tops. I matched with this guy on Bumble the last time I was on there, and he was like a Navy SEAL guy. He was so hot. He had like beard and all these tattoos. I love these manly guys who are relationship guys. So they're masculine, they're younger. Okay, if I have to describe them, they're younger, they're masculine, they're relationship type of men, and they're successful. Sometimes guys, when they hear me talk about I like younger men, they think, well, I'm 20 and flabby and younger in my mom's basement. Don't you want me? No, I don't. That's not attractive. I'm talking about attractive. And honestly, guys like that, they can get a lot of women. Why would they want me? And if they want me, they must want to fuck me. And I'm not giving them my vagina. No vagina access. And I'm not looking for offering my vagina to these guys. You know? Like, I would want to be in a relationship. I would want to go on dates, actually. I would want to get to know them. And I don't even know if I would be interested in dating any of them. I don't really know. I will tell you this. It has been, you know, I make videos about sex. You know, I make videos about relationships. You know, I was married 25 years. You know, I like relationships. You know, I like men. And what's puzzling to me, is that I have not been in a relationship at all. I haven't dated anyone at all since I divorced my husband in May of 2013. 10 and a half years. And in those 10 and a half years, I have gone on a date maybe once a year on average, or twice a year. One date each. There was one man I went with on a second date. The guy I met on Bumble. In August, we went on 2 dates. But I never even kissed him. All the dates I went on, all those dates over those 10 years, I kissed one guy, and he wasn't the Bumble guy, he was a different guy. But he was like a piece of shit because we did a short kiss and then I never saw him again. He set up another date and he blew me off. And he played the charm card on me. He was 32. Then I found out from another woman that I know, she went out with him on a date to a brewery. He took her to a brewery and then he ghosted her too. So he has like attachment avoidance issues. But nonetheless, it's puzzling to me. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, what is going on with me or with men? Something's going on. First of all, something's going on that I'm not attracted to men older than me. I just don't even really see them. Second, why have I not dated in 10 years? Like, what is that? That is just weird. Isn't it? I think it's weird. If I was a woman who had, like, I have no pets. I'm not a cat lady. I'm not a dog lady. I see the comments. I see the comments. Lady, just shut up and go back to your cats. I just block people like that because it's very disrespectful. I don't have cats. I'm not interested in cats. I'm not interested in dogs. I'm interested in my grandkids. And I have more on the way. I'm not sharing that, but I have more on the way. And I love kids. I love grandkids. I love kids. You know, I'm like a family person. I'm a homebody. I'm a homemaker. I'm like a mom at heart. But this whole thing about my attraction to younger men is baffling to me because I'm reading The Alchemist right now. And one of the lessons in there is the world wants you to have what you want or something like that. Your personal legend. I don't know what my personal legend is, but you know, when we have these desires and these wishes for something, like why are they there? Like why am I attracted to younger men? I was not always. When I was married, I was not emotionally and sexually satisfied in my marriage, okay? And he probably wasn't emotionally satisfied with me because he wanted a workaholic wife. And all the guys who say, I don't give a shit what women do for work, I don't believe you. You're lying. Because unless a guy makes a shit ton of money, he wants his wife to work. And the number of men who can afford to provide for a woman is very small. Very, very small now. My ex-husband's mom was a workaholic. And a lot of men want a woman like their mom, you know, and I disappointed him. I disappointed my ex-husband because when he met me in organic chemistry class at the University of Nebraska at Omaha, he fell in love with me very quickly. And he liked many things about me. And one of the things he liked was that he thought that I would be working, you know. And I do want to work. I always wanted to work when we were married, but part-time. I didn't want to work full-time when I had kids. I didn't want my kids to be raised in daycare. I'm sure they would have turned out fine. I don't know. They turned out really good. I stayed home with them most of the time. I couldn't find a part-time job that I thought was interesting enough. I applied for quite a few over the years, but I'm just saying that he wasn't happy with that part of me, and I wasn't happy with him sexually ever, really, except the first few years. He was not good in bed. And I remember all those years where we were married, I would wonder what sex would have been like if I would have married someone else. I wondered. And you know, sex was just something he did to get off. It wasn't something he was that into. He was into a lot of really good things, like taking care of like he was a good dad. He was really good at doing stuff around the house. Like he was like a great engineer type. Very hands-on with the woodworking. He always liked having a shop. He was very good. He was very smart. Very smart, very good at his job. Very good engineer. Very good at designing systems and solving problems. Like good. And he was very physically good too. Like When he was in his 50s, he joined this adult soccer league. And one time the kids and I went to watch him, and he was badass. He was like running down the field and pushing guys out of the way. Like he was very coordinated, very athletic. He helped a lot around the house. He did a lot of house projects. He took the dog running. He had good energy, good Midwest genes. But he was avoidant, and he was bad in bed, and he didn't give a shit. He's like, I just come in 10 seconds. I can't help that, honey. That's just how I am. You know? So I started wondering, what would have been like? This might be a long video. I don't know. I'm just kind of sharing like a lot of stuff. What would it have been like if I would have married that neighbor or this guy at work? And I would fantasize about these other men or about other women. And while I was married, I actually had a crush on 3 different women. My ex-husband didn't care about my interest in women, but I now realize that my interest in women came from the lack of what he gave me, his complete disinterest in my sexuality and my pleasure. And I projected that onto other women, like they can touch me how he doesn't. I can touch them how he doesn't touch me. I can have with them some sensuality that I can't have with him. It was just a projection. I'm not into women at all. So there were 3 different women. One was my massage therapist, and she wasn't interested in me that way at all. She had a girlfriend. And one was a woman I met at the gay bar. My ex-husband didn't care that I went out with women. He didn't see it as a threat. He was like, that's just Charzad having fun with women. It wasn't until the end of our marriage when I started experimenting with women again, and he saw I had feelings for this woman, that's in my book, that he started to not like it because he saw that it was a threat to the relationship. But before that, he didn't mind. I didn't have sex with any other men while I was married. I didn't want to blow up my family. And I'm not like a sleep around type of girl anyway. Like I told you, I went on all these dates. I didn't even kiss these guys. I'm not going to kiss you just to kiss you. It has to be a reason. Like after my divorce, I hooked up with a lot of guys. But there was a reason for it, a purpose to each one. The purpose was to explore my sexuality with a guy who had an erection that lasted longer than 2 minutes. That was the purpose. To have sex with a guy who would let me play romantic music. I wasn't allowed to when I was married. To have sex with a guy who wanted to kiss me and who actually looked at me and kept his eyes open. To have sex with a guy who actually cared about my orgasm, who wanted me to have an orgasm. I was shocked when I found out men like to watch me masturbate or having an orgasm, because my ex-husband, he didn't like any of that. It was just a chore. It was something he did as an obligation. The same way that I might, what do I do out of obligation? I don't know. I don't do anything out of obligation because I'm pretty authentic, But it was kind of like, well, I got off. I got to make her get off. But it was, he was bored. Like he didn't care. I think he didn't want it. It was just a burden. It was like a chore he had to complete. And so I kind of started fantasizing about these women. I never fantasize about women anymore. But when I was married, I fantasized about them a lot. A lot of the years I was married, I didn't want sex at all. I just completely lost my sex drive. For years, I didn't even masturbate. It was shut down. Those 10 years I was taking Vicodin, I was just shut it down, But I often would think about other men. Are they better in bed? And it wasn't that I wanted to fuck them. It was more like, does this man please his wife? Is this woman pleased in bed with her husband? Because I was sexually so fucking dissatisfied. And the point of this video now I'm making is that I always dreamed of having like this perfect relationship. I didn't care about the big fucking wedding. I would have liked to have a better house than we had. Okay, we had a really little house. But I really wanted a juicy relationship. I wanted to have good sex. I wanted to have good communication. I wanted us to enjoy each other in all ways. And that's not what he wanted. He wasn't that way when I married him. And you could say that I turned the tables by all of a sudden, by going along with it and then wanting something more. But hey, people grow. And I'll tell you what made me grow the most is being a mom. Being a mom helped me grow more than anything I've ever done. It opened my heart. It made me be responsible for these beings who were helpless and who needed my attention, my guidance. It opened my heart. It made me expand an area of my life that I was good at. I took parenting classes. I learned how to be a better mom. And I got to explore a side of me, a really good side of me. And when I had all that kind of interaction, when a mom's interaction with her kids, there's a lot of guidance. There's a lot of, well, what do you want? What's important to you? These are your choices. You can wear these shoes or these shoes. What do you want? There's a lot of empathy, tuning into feelings, nurturing, sensuality, holding your babies close, chest to chest, skin to skin. And these qualities really translate well to relationships, right? Because a lot of times we're intimate with our partner, we're skin to skin, chest to chest, we are a mom. When I'm with my sugar daddies, I do a little bit of mommy thing. I hold them close like this. They love it. It's just part of it, okay? Empathy, listening, how to communicate better. And I was learning all this stuff, and I wanted that same thing with him. So I was growing, and he didn't want anything to change. He didn't go to the parenting classes. He was like, well, I'm not going to go to those classes, but just tell me what you learned. And I would tell him stuff, and he would listen, But it expanded my heart. And when I stopped taking the pills and I was going to a lot of these AA meetings and women's only meetings, my heart was so full. I was hugging everyone. It had nothing to do with my husband at the time. It was just me growing, because feeling life. I was just so happy. And I remember going to the dentist, and my husband goes, now remember to shake their hand, don't give them a hug. Don't go overboard. But I was just so in love with life. And that love also transferred onto him. That was me waking up more to life. I'd gotten off the Vicodin. I was a different person at late 40s than I was in my 20s. The mom experience opened my heart so much. So much. And he didn't want that kind of relationship with me. That was very heartbreaking. But anyway, I remember being a realtor, and we had this young client. He paid cash for this downtown condo. And I remember thinking, God, he's so freaking hot. He was 27. I was in my late 40s. I was like, oh my God, he's so freaking hot. And I've got this old husband, this old guy for a husband. I love him. I can see through his ugly face. I love him. But this young guy is so hot. So I've had this thing for young guys, but I didn't know young guys liked me until after my divorce. I moved into this home, and I'm out dancing. I'm sober. I wasn't drinking at all, really. I wasn't drinking when I went out. I'm just dancing and dancing. At the end of the night, and I was still dating women at the time. Read my book, The Fuck List, to read all about my experiences with women. And these young guys come up to us, and my friend, she's still my friend today, she's like, what do these guys want from us? I'm like, well, I don't know. I didn't know what they wanted from her. And they asked us to dance, and I'm just looking at them, and the guy was 5'11", 6'3", muscular, Marine, 21-year-old Marine. And I just looked at him, and I was just puzzled, because I had boys that age. I said, I'm thinking I'm not a pedophile. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, how old do you think I am? And he looked down at me, and he goes, 35, ma'am. I'm like, damn, 35? I look 35, and he called me ma'am. And I'm like, I'm not going to dance with you. So then I thought he would just walk away, but he didn't. He just stood there. He was looking for his next prospect because he was out looking for a hookup that night. And he wanted an older woman or any woman, but he stayed there. So I'm looking at him and I'm feeling all this muscle and this masculine energy. So I touched his arm like this. And it was so strong. So I'm like, do you mind if I touch you some more? And I'm like, oh my God, something came over me, and I go, I'll dance with you. So he took me and my friend out on the dance floor, and he's twirling us around, twirling us around. And then I'm thinking, pick me, pick me. And he did. So on the next dance, we slow dance, and I'm like, I need a guy to fuck. I need to get fucked really well. I'm hooking up with these women, but they're not good in bed. I need some good male energy. And I'm thinking, this is a young guy. He'll want to fuck a lot. We can like have great sex. I can explore my sexuality. He's super hot. But I brought him home with me. On the way back to the car, my friend was driving. I go, why do you like older women? Like younger women are just prettier. And he's like, well, they're just better in bed. They know what they want. They appreciate me more. They know how to have good conversation. So, I had him over, and he ended up spending the night. I took him back to the Miramar base the next morning. I didn't get his number or anything, but I gave him my business card. He's in my book. I did see him a few more times after that. By the way, he did contact me last year and a few months ago, actually, and I had to block him because he's just still such a loser. He's totally unresponsive, and I don't want to deal with all that bullshit. But anyway, he was really, really, really good in bed. He was amazing in bed. He was able to last as long as I needed. I was able to come on his cock by masturbating. Like he lasted as long as I needed. He was very attentive in the condom. And then right after I came, he waited a few seconds and he came in the condom like on point sexually. Nice cock, very fit. He was actually a calendar model at the time. That started me on the whole thing with the young guys. It's all in my book, The Fuck List. You got to read it if you want. But anyway, he was very young. Then I started thinking 20s is way too young. What am I going to do with the guy in his 20s? But I've had difficulty when my ex-husband turned, 50s. I found him less attractive. I still loved him because I'm looking through his ugly face and all of his wrinkles, and I love him. And that's how I was able to be with the sugar daddies, because if they were ugly, I didn't care. I can see through the person to their heart and treat them with kindness and compassion. But I don't want to do that with guys that I'm fucking for free. I want to feel attracted to them. I don't want to have to look past ugliness. Okay, that's just the ugliness. Looking past the ugliness is what I do for work or for healing. It's a healing thing. I mean, sometimes our babies are ugly. Some of my babies were very ugly and I was able to love them. That's another skill I learned. Like, don't judge people by their looks. You can love them for their insides. But now we're talking about attraction. So attraction matters. I want to enjoy looking at the person, even with my female friends. I love it when I go out to dinner with my female friends and they put on some makeup. I'm like, I really like looking at you right now. More. So I think that's just natural. Anyway, that guy was way too young, but I didn't know that younger men liked older women. But I'll tell you what, they like us for our vaginas. They like us to fuck us. And I'm not down for that. I'm not interested in that. I'm not down for that. If all a man can offer me is his penis, he's useless to me, really. It's no value. A man's penis is of no value. That's what men don't realize. A man's penis has no value. The value is the man attached to the penis. Of course, I want the penis to work, but the penis alone and in of itself has no value to me. I can get a dildo if that's what I want. For a woman, it's the man attached to the penis that's of value. And even if a guy is 70 and can get hard, I just don't know if I would be attracted to him, honestly. I love younger men. When I see a guy I'm attracted to, and then I guess his age, I'm always guessing 30s. maybe 40s, rarely 50s. So, do I have a problem? And if I do, how can I solve it? Because the number of men in their 30s and 40s who seriously want to date me and love my kids, okay? I'm not talking about a fuckboy. I'm not talking about some guy who needs a mommy. I'm talking about a competent, successful man. I don't even know if that exists. I never heard of it, frankly, you know? But I'm just putting my enthusiasm for it out there in case it does exist, that I'm not the only woman who likes this. Yeah, so just sharing a little bit of my inner world with you guys tonight on a Saturday night. And thank you for watching my video.